Close your eyes for a moment. You're standing in a city of 20,000 people. You can hear hammers on iron, the creak of cartwheels on stone, and somewhere nearby, soldiers drilling in formation. You're not in Rome. You're not in Carthage. You're in Britain, in the far north of an empire that stretches from Scotland to the Sahara. And right now, this city is its most important address. Today, you know this place as York, a quiet English city of medieval walls and chocolate shops. But strip away 1,700 years, and something extraordinary stands in its place. The Romans call this place Eboracum. The name almost certainly comes from a Brittonic word, possibly meaning place of the yew trees. They arrived here in 71 AD, marching north to subdue the powerful Brigantes tribe. Within decades, a full legionary fortress rises from the ground. Stone walls, barracks for 5,000 soldiers, granaries capable of feeding an army for months. This is the northern anchor of Roman Britain. By 300 AD, Eboracum is home to the 6th Legion Victrix, the victorious 6th. They've been stationed here for over a century. This is no temporary camp. This is a city where you walk through York's museum gardens today, pausing to admire a few surviving Roman columns. The headquarters of the entire Northern Empire once stood, now cross the river. Because Eboracum is two cities in one. The fortress on the north bank, military, disciplined, Roman to its core. And on the south bank, a civilian settlement called the Colonia. This is where life really happens. The Colonia is technically a civilian town, but it feels like a small version of Rome itself. Streets laid in a grid, a forum at its heart, bathhouses, temples, taverns, and above it all, an extraordinary cosmopolitan mix of people. Archaeology has found evidence of people from Syria, North Africa, and the Eastern Mediterranean buried right here in York. A 4th century woman found near the railway station, buried with ivory and jet jewelry, possibly of North African origin. This isn't unusual for Eboracum, it's the norm. Most people in Eboracum don't live like that, of course. The ordinary working population lives in timber and clay buildings packed along narrow streets. A small room, a shared courtyard, open sewage channels running alongside the road. Food for most people is simple. Porridge of emmer wheat or barley, bread from the bakeries on the main street, beans, lentils, whatever scraps of pork or game can be had from the market. Evidence from the Eboracum excavations shows even modest households ate shellfish, oysters brought up by road from the coast at Brow. The bathhouse changes everything about daily life, even for the relatively poor. The Roman public bathhouse, the Thermae, is part social club, part community center, part hygiene facility. And Eboracum has them. Religion in Eboracum is complicated and fascinating. Official Roman gods, yes, Jupiter, Mars, the emperor's divine spirit. But walk through the Colonia and you encounter something far more diverse. A temple to Serapis, an Egyptian god, has been found in York. The dedicatory inscription survives to this day. A commander of the 6th Legion had it built, from Egypt to northern Britain. The Roman world has no edges you can easily feel. Now we reach the year 296 AD, and everything about Eboracum shifts. The Emperor Constantius I arrives in the city, not visiting, not passing through. He makes Eboracum his imperial capital, his base for the reconquest of Britain after a breakaway regime had held it for nearly a decade. The Praetorium, the commander's palace inside the fortress, is upgraded. Historians believe it becomes a genuine imperial residence. Heated floors, painted walls, columns of imported marble. Eboracum is, for this moment, a seat of world power. But there is something else happening in Eboracum during these years, something that will change the entire history of the Western world. Constantius brings with him his son, a young man named Constantine. In 306 AD, Constantius I dies, right here in Eboracum. His body lies in state in the Praetorium. The army, his army, camped at the northern edge of the known world, needs an emperor. And they don't look far. The legions assemble outside the fortress walls. Within hours of the emperor's death, Constantine is raised on a legionary shield, the ancient Roman military acclamation. The soldiers cheer. The man who will go on to make Christianity the empire's faith is proclaimed emperor. Here, in York, where the legion stood that morning, the ground outside what is now York railway station, commuters now walk past without a second thought. The most consequential acclamation in Roman history happened on a car park. Constantine leaves York almost immediately to fight for his throne. He will spend years in civil war, but he never forgets Eboracum, the city that made him emperor. His father is buried here with full imperial honors. Life in Eboracum after Constantine's departure returns to its rhythms. The 6th Legion stays. They always stay. Born and raised in Britain now, many of these soldiers have never seen Rome. Their fathers were soldiers here, their grandfathers too. Beyond the walls, the dead surround the living. Roman law is explicit. No burials inside the city. The roads leading out of Eboracum are lined with graves, stone sarcophagi for the wealthy, simple pottery jars for the poor, tombstones that still survive, still readable today. Some of those tombstones have survived. Today, you can read them in the Yorkshire Museum, a short walk from the site of the Roman fortress. To the gods of the underworld and to the memory of... And then a name. A real person. York, 1,700 years ago. The health of ordinary people in Eboracum is frankly hard. Life expectancy at birth, across all classes, is estimated at around 25 to 35 years by most Roman historians. Not because everyone dies young, but because infant and child mortality is catastrophic. Those who survive childhood can live to 50, 60, even older. The tombstones tell us, a retired veteran recorded as dying at 62, a merchant woman at 55. Life is possible here, it just isn't guaranteed. Trade flows through Eboracum along the river and the Roman road network. Samian-ware pottery, that bright red glazed tableware, arrives from workshops in Gaul. Wine from the Mediterranean in ceramic amphorae, olive oil, fine glassware, all found in Eboracum excavations. Now we need to talk about the walls, because the walls of Eboracum are extraordinary. The fortress walls of the 6th Legion stand 5 meters tall and nearly 1.5 meters thick, towers every 35 meters. No enemy is walking through these without a serious fight. Entertainment in Eboracum is not all gladiators and chariot racing, though there is evidence for both nearby. For most people, daily entertainment is the tavern, dice, gambling, argument. Evidence from Roman Britain suggests board games were wildly popular. Counters and gaming boards turn up constantly in excavations. We should be honest about the darker realities. Slavery is everywhere in Eboracum. The wealthy households, the bathhouses, the workshops, the farms, all run on enslaved labor. Some of those slaves are local British people, taken in raids or debt bondage generations back. Others are brought from across the empire. There is a softer side to slavery in the Roman record too, and historians debate how meaningful this is. Some enslaved people in Eboracum, we know from inscriptions, became freedmen and freedwomen. They set up their own businesses. They made dedications to the gods. A freed slave ran a workshop near the Colonia Forum. We have his name carved in stone. Now fast forward to the 4th century, the decades after Constantine. Eboracum remains a major city, but the empire is changing. Taxes are heavier, the army is more expensive, and the barbarian pressures on every frontier are growing. Here in Britain, the northern frontier is never fully quiet. By the late 4th century, there are signs in the archaeology of Eboracum that things are changing. Some buildings in the Colonia are not being maintained. Rubbish begins to accumulate in spaces that were once courtyards. This isn't collapse, not yet, but it is a loosening. The year 410 AAD, the Emperor Honorius, besieged by his own problems, writes to the cities of Britain. He tells them to look to their own defenses. No Roman army is coming, and in Eboracum, the last generation who call themselves Romans looks at their city and wonders what comes next. Roman Eboracum doesn't die in a single moment. It fades. The buildings don't fall. They're dismantled. Stone taken for new purposes, timber reused. The streets fill gradually with the soil of centuries. And what rises in its place becomes Anglo-Saxon Eoforwic, then Viking Jorvik, then medieval York. But Eboracum never entirely disappears. The 6th Legion's fortress walls, parts of them are still standing. The multangular tower and museum gardens stands to nearly its original height. The stone Constantine walked past, still there. Below the streets of modern York, the Roman city is still there, meters down, preserved in the waterlogged soil. The Yorkshire Museum holds one of the finest collections of Roman-British artifacts anywhere in the world. Every object was once held by a real person in the city. Every inscription was once read by living eyes. Eboracum teaches us something important. That civilization is not a fixed state. It is a process. A city can be the center of the known world one century and a quiet English town the next. The stones don't change. The stories written into them change constantly. A Roman soldier stood on that wall 1,700 years ago and watched this same river. He didn't know he was at the center of history. He was just doing his job, making a life, keeping watch. That's what Eboracum really was. Not an abstraction, not an empire. People, living their lives in a city that happened to be at the edge of the world. If you've made it this far, thank you, genuinely. If this made you think differently about the ground beneath your feet, drop a comment below. Tell us which city you want to explore next. And if you haven't already, subscribe. There are 2,000 years of stories still to tell.